Yo, it's Jesse with Bone Land Clearing. We got our first commercial job we're doing for a company. This has been like 4 months on the wait, but it's for a dog kennel. So we got 3 spots to do. As you can see, I'd love to mulch every bit of this, but there's like 300 something dogs here, and we're going to try to clean up some of it. They'd like to get it all done, but they gotta use the brush and all that stuff as a noise barrier. But anyway, so today's a Sunday. We're pulling everything on a Sunday because we've had a lot of rain and stuff like that. Got to get in here and clean stuff up. But we got the skid steer here today. While I'm here, I'm going to go ahead and start mulching a few spots. We got the training area down here for the canines and all that stuff. They breed for police dogs and all that stuff, which is very awesome. But we got this spot, then we got one on the upper side, and then we got the one on the upside on top of the hill on the back side for puppies, where they for the puppies and stuff like that, for them to have their own little area. So let's get to it. We get everything unchained and get it off the trailer. And then since nobody's here, it's the reason why I'm pulled here today, so that way I won't be in anybody's way, because it's very hectic on a Monday or through the week. All right, we moved out of the way. The 450 is not fixed just yet. I ordered the piping and all that stuff that we need. So we've been planning this for 4 months, whether it being a corporation or a company like that. It was hard to snap your fingers and say, okay, let's do it. So there's a bunch of stuff in the mix of everything, so hopefully there ain't no fencing, because there is a fence post right there. So what they want me to do is push it back towards the big trees. You can see, as you can tell, there's fence post, some center blocks. We're going to get those cleaned up, and that's the last thing that we need to touch or hit, is that piece of metal. So we're going to go ahead and come through here and clean it up. I do see some fencing in the very back, right over there, right at the tree lines. So all they're wanting me to do is just come in and push everything back and clean it up. So there is a fence right here as well. Awesome. But we're gonna get this tidied up for them. We got to go all the way back there. There's a property line back behind those big trees, so that way they'll have more training area for their dogs. But we're gonna go ahead and spend the next 20-25 minutes picking up these poles, and then stuff overhanging, we're gonna go ahead and just, you know, cut it off and chop it up, so that way they can keep it maintained a little better. So let's get to it. All right, I'm gonna show you what I had. Got some of these white chert rocks. These right here will break a tooth quickly. So I found there's a fence just really close over here, so I'm not going to mess with anything else. Center blocks, bunch of these. There's a bunch more down there until I get mulched right up to it and I can see it, but there is a bunch of this wire right here, but luckily it's not really held on that good. Tires, rims, and not sure what else, but that's about it. There's just a bunch of fence and a bunch of trees. So once we get this cut, then we'll be able to clean up some more once we start mulching and clean it back. So let's see what we can find out. I'll tell you one thing, I get lucky at times. So earlier, after I mulched up so far, I pushed a little bit further and I wrapped up some barbed wire. It hit hard, then it didn't hear nothing afterwards. So I just spooled it down, moved everything, pulled everything off the fence, and then didn't even look in the drum. I need to start doing that. So I only had 3 tools, technically 2 of them, because I keep this in there just in case. I had this in the truck, and this is in the machine. So that was wrapped in the bearings area. So it's stuck over here and it was halfway in there, so I rocked it back and forth just like this. There's always a sweet spot in the drum where it'll somehow catch it and it'll pull it out. So, but that was scary. Knives were looking pretty good except for that one. I'm not really sure why that curled up. Didn't really hit nothing. Carbides from Romeck, which are carbide knives as well. I need to get like a tier 2 or 3. There's a ripper for the excavator. Now you can already see some of the neighbor's equipment there. Let's go ahead and finish out the rest of the mulching on the lower side and we'll be done, and then we'll probably call it a day. That way it's about 1 hour and 40-ish minutes to get back to the house. So let's get to finishing up. tell you one thing, earlier I had one of these, it's got one of these vines that are just hard to cut. I mean, these got brand new knives, and it just didn't want to cut it. A chunk got stuck under here, and it started smoking. So the quick reaction was to piss on it. So that's the term. Well, the camera died, but anyway, so the term piss on it, that's what I talk about. But anyway, so we got this done. There was a fence line, or like I guess they had one strand electric fence just a few feet off of it, and then they had a fence behind it. So, and these literally, I mean, there's stuff just rigged on it around the tree and stuff, but you can tell pretty much to that pine, cleaned it up, made it look good, and then just kind of back drag and cleaned it up a little better. So yep, looks pretty good. They didn't want me to push too far because I told them, I said I can pretty much come in and then clean everything in between here, probably about 40 foot, and they're like, no, I'll just push to the big trees and that's it. So, but I gained them about extra 10-15 foot of the training course that they have for dogs that they train. These are high-end dogs as well, so they spend a lot of time and money. Big corporation. This I was told it's best in Alabama. So but we got this done. This is stage 2, but the big stage 1 is the one, the main spot. But we're going to go ahead and clean the other side up on the upper side, and I'll show you the lower side as well, because we'll have to lot clear that as well. All right, we're gonna finish the day out, head on out, since we got at least one of the tasks done. Literally probably about an hour and a half, about 2 hours, because I had to do a lot of hand digging and pulling out and the old fence, get that cleaned up, and we'll come back with the excavator tomorrow. That way I'll have time to pick it up, and eventually we'll probably be cleaning some of this stuff as well. See you tomorrow. Well, I figured I'd go ahead and show this up here while I have the machine up here. I was like, well, let's go ahead and bring it up here. So this is the next full job. We're clearing to about right there, that big one right there at the road, pushing all the way back. So we're gonna leave the trees on the outside, that way it's like a little barrier. But they're wanting to build another kennel right here, so I'm gonna have to pretty much lot clear every one of these trees on the inside. That's why we bought that ripper. So we're going to go in several feet, probably about middle way, and just start laying trees down where it's open. There's a few open spots back here. So the rest of it's going to get mulched, and then we're going to take the big stuff like that, the big stuff, and then take it off to a sawmill to give, I guess, instead of just taking them to the landfill. So we'll have to come in and clean everything up, and then start laying trees down and sawing them up to a log length. So we'll have several loads, so trying to figure it out as I go, but we'll figure it out. All right, I'll tell you one thing, I'm glad I came yesterday and done some work, because these poor people just passed by, but I'm right in the way. But I did give them enough room to get around me. Let's go ahead and get this running, and then I grabbed my skid steer pallet forks. I have to get that off. I grabbed those just in case we need those to grab those or move logs around. So let this run a minute. It's been having problems trying to start, like it's got in the bad ground or something. I don't know if it'll do it. Like that right there. It's like a bad. Gotta get that checked out, but it's always something. We're gonna let that run for a minute, and then we'll see what we gotta do next. All right, got the 305 off. Got the root ripper. We're gonna try it out. You can see what we got here. since it's daylight. What we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and destroy these knives, because there's a lot of sandstone in here. It'll bust it up, but still it's the fact of it's all under all those pine needles. So this is pretty much like a white chert slash clay, real thick. But getting the skid steer warmed up, it looks like more than I thought. I was like, oh man, I hope I quoted enough time and days. So we're gonna try. Thought I left something over there, but we're gonna let that warm up just for a few more minutes, and then we're gonna go in there and we're gonna thin everything out, and then whatever's left, and then that way we can get behind stuff, because once we start tearing out these trees, the plan is to leave the exterior trees like on the edge and leave like a little shell, because how they did that, they want to leave trees way far from the kennel. So pretty much everything in the center is coming down, so stuff like that just leaving the outside. And see, this is what we'll be dealing with, so we'll be seeing sparks. But they have a bunch of dozer piles, a bunch of them's laid over, so we're gonna haul them off. We'll have a helper hopefully tomorrow, so we'll be able to rip up and we'll get some footage of the root ripper. So we'll see what we can't get. After further investigating, there's a bunch of rock underneath, way more than I thought there was. So we're gonna go down here and work our way up, because there's a bunch of fallen trees on this lower side. So I'm gonna try to nip them at the bottom, and I'm gonna probably start right here. That way the sun's not in our eyes. That way I don't mulch a tree at the bottom. And then luckily the power lines are on the other side, so probably gonna start right here, because you can see, oops, there's a bunch of trees right here. Grant's supposed to come up and help me, so there's some of them right here that's not sure. Those are dead. So those are white pines in Alabama. That's like mulching privet, so we're going to go ahead and start. There's so many rocks. Let's get it going, and once I get it opened up, then Grant will be here in a little bit, and we'll do a time lapse. That's probably what we'll be doing, because there's a bunch of trees gonna be falling down. I think we got there's a tree right there we got to stop at right over there. So that's where we're going to stop for that, and then we're going to mulch all this just to kind of thin it out. That's what I told them to do. so I pushed a little bit, and then Grant came up, so I was going to show him how to do all that. We started laying it down where I can come in and mulch it. So he used to mulch as well, so he got everything ready for me to start mulching it, and we're going to take out the little scrubby ones right now. That way we can make room to start falling them. So I'm going to let him push a little bit, and then I'm going to come in and start mulching. What I did was rip up some of the trees over in this corner, and then which this was rough, got on that lower side as well, cleaned it up. Alright, got the camera fixed. I was trying to talk in the middle of it dying, so I got a bunch of stuff to do. It's been a fight battle because of the rocks